Good morning, dear students. Today we'll study the next unit, Biology in Human Welfare. In this unit, we will study the topic Human Health and Disease. Health depends on the food and diet, exercise, family and friends, sleep, stress management. Every human being is the author of his own health or disease. Now, let us define what do you mean by health. Health is defined as a state of complete physical, mental, and social well-being. When people are healthy, they are more efficient at work, which increases productivity and brings economic prosperity. Health also increases long life and reduces infant and maternal mortality. The good health is maintained by balanced diet, personal hygiene, and regular exercise. The health is affected by first one, due to genetic disorders, second, infections, third, lifestyle including diet, rest, and exercise. Drug and alcohol abuse also affect our health adversely. So these are the three effects of health. And then now, diseases are grouped into infectious and non-infectious. So let us define what are infectious diseases. Diseases which are easily transmitted from one person to another are called infectious diseases. So these diseases, they transmit from one person to another person. For example, common cold, cough. Next, define what are non-infectious diseases. Diseases which are not transmitted from one person to another are called non-infectious diseases. Example, cancer. It is non-infectious disease that causes death. So these are the two types of diseases called as infectious diseases which are transmitted from one person to another, and non-infectious diseases which are not transmitted from one person to another. Now, let us study about some common diseases in humans. Here, pathogens are there which affects and enters the human and causes the diseases. The organisms belonging to bacteria, viruses, fungi, protozoans, helminthes, etc. could cause diseases in man. Such disease-causing organisms are called pathogens. So these pathogens, they are the disease-causing organisms which infects and enters into the body of human and causes the number of diseases. Now one by one we will study the types of diseases here, whether it may be bacterial, viral, fungus, protozoans, or helminthes. So first we will study about the disease called as typhoid. So in these diseases we will study the pathogens, organs affected, method of transmission, and symptoms. So here first about typhoid. In typhoid, the pathogen caused is Salmonella typhi. It is one of the bacterium Salmonella typhi which causes the disease. Organs affected here, small intestine, migrate to other organs through blood also. Then, method of transmission. So this bacterium Salmonella typhi enters into a human body and causes a disease called typhoid. So how it enters here, that is the mode of transmission, or may call as method of transmission, due to contamination of food and water. If we eat any contaminated food or drink any contaminated water, in the contaminated food and water, the Salmonella typhi can enter into our body here. Then the symptoms of these disease is high fever, weakness, stomach pain, constipation, headache, and loss of appetite. Intestinal malformation may leads to death also. So to confirm this typhoid, there is a test done. So that test we call it as Widal test. So typhoid fever could be confirmed by Widal test. So these are the pathogens, organs affected, method of transmission, symptoms, and test to confirm the disease typhoid. Next, we'll study the next disease called as common cold. Here also, we study the pathogen, organs affected, method of transmission, and symptoms. So, pathogen cause for this disease is rhinoviruses. Rhinovirus enters into the body of human and causes the disease called common cold. Here, organs affected are nose and respiratory passage. Then, method of transmission or mode of transmission. How it is transmitted to the body. First, direct inhalation of droplets from infected person. So, in front of you, any person is having the common cold. So, if he sneezes, that droplets direct inhale into the body of other, means transmitted from one person to another. That is direct inhalation of droplets from infected person. Due to that, the common cold can be caused. Or through contaminated objects like pens, books, cups, computer, keyboard. So objects such as pen, books, cups, computer or keyboard, if they are contaminated or we are in touch with that, then also the sneezing occurs and the virus can enter into the body, causing the common cold disease. Now, the symptoms of these common cold: nasal congestion and discharge. Nasal, that is nose, from the nasal cavity, congested will be there and discharge of water will occur. Then sore throat, because of the discharge of water here, common cold, throat pain will be there, called as sore throat. Then hoarseness, roughness will be there in the throat. Then cough can occur. Then tiredness will be caused. These symptoms usually last for 3 to 7 days. So this is about the common cold, their pathogen caused, mode of transmission, symptoms, and organs affected. Next, we'll study about next disease called pneumonia. Here also we study the pathogen, organs affected, mode of transmission, symptoms. Pathogen for pneumonia is Streptococcus pneumoniae and Haemophilus influenzae. So these are the pathogen enters into the body and causes the disease called pneumonia. Organs affected: alveoli of lungs. Alveoli get filled with the fluid. Here, when the virus enters into the pathogen enter into the body here, it affects the alveoli of the lungs. So in the lungs, in the respiratory passage, their alveoli are present, which are bag-like structure, so that alveoli get filled with the fluid. Now, method of transmission: inhaling the droplets or aerosols released by infected person. So any infected person, if he sneezes and that droplets will be inhaled by the person, or due to contaminated air. So in the contaminated air, if entered into the lungs here, it affects the alveoli and the alveoli will causes the pneumonia. Next, symptoms: fever, chills, cough and headache. Then in severe cases, the lips and fingernails turn grey to bluish color. So these are the symptoms formed. So as the contaminated air filled with the fluid in the alveoli, there the alveoli causes the number of symptoms and then the pneumonia is caused. So this is about the pneumonia pathogen, organ affected, method of transmission and symptoms. Next, we'll study about the disease called malaria. Here also we'll study the pathogen, organs affected, method of transmission, symptoms, and also we'll study the life cycle of the malaria. That is the life cycle of Plasmodium. Pathogens. So Plasmodium, there are Plasmodium vivax, Plasmodium malariae, Plasmodium ovale, and Plasmodium falciparum. So these are the pathogens of the Plasmodium. So due to the Plasmodium here, malaria is caused. Then malignant malaria, it is caused by Plasmodium falciparum, which is fatal. The next, organs affected. It affects the liver and RBC, that is red blood cells. Then, method of transmission or mode of transmission. Malaria can be caused by biting of female Anopheles mosquito, which is the vector for this disease. Next, symptoms of this disease: high fever and chill. Fever occurs on every alternate day and vomiting. Some other symptoms of malaria you can observe here: headache, in skin, chills and sweating. In systematic, in fever is occurred, in muscular, fatigue pain, then in back pain, then in respiratory, dry cough occurs, enlargement of spleen, and from stomach, nausea and vomiting. So these are some other symptoms of malaria occurred. Next, this is the life cycle of Plasmodium, which causes the malaria. Here, both two hosts are there, in mosquitoes and human. In mosquitoes, the mosquito develops the sporozoites in oocyte, and the sporozoites, they migrate to salivary glands of the mosquito. Then in humans, the sporozoites, when the mosquito bites a person, sporozoites injected with the mosquito bite passes to liver stage, then to the red blood cells, then the gametocytes are formed. Now, let us study about the life cycle of malaria parasite. The malarial parasite, it requires two hosts, as I told, human and Anopheles mosquito, to complete their life cycle. Life cycle of Plasmodium starts with injecting sporozoites through the bite of infected female Anopheles mosquito. When Anopheles mosquito bites a person, sporozoites are injected through the bite of the Anopheles mosquito. Then the parasite initially multiplied within the liver cells and then attacked the red blood cells, resulting in their rupture. Means the parasite will multiply in the liver cells, then attack the RBC, then RBC will get rupture. Then there is a release of toxic substance called hemozoin from the ruptured RBCs. It is responsible for the chill and high fever. After that ruptured RBC, release of toxic substance called hemozoin. So these hemozoin is responsible for the chill and high fever. Then from the infected human, the parasite enters into the body of Anopheles mosquito during biting and sucking blood. When again the Anopheles mosquito bites and sucks the blood from the infected human, the parasite again it enters into the body of the mosquito. Then further development takes place in the body of Anopheles mosquitoes. As the parasite enters again into the body of Anopheles mosquito, there is a development takes place in the body of Anopheles mosquito. Then the female mosquito takes up gametocytes with the blood meal. So the female mosquito, it forms the gametocytes. Then formation of gametes and fertilization takes place in the intestine of mosquito. Then in intestine of mosquito, there is formation of gametes and fertilization will take place. Then the zygote develops further and forms thousands of sporozoites. After fertilization, zygote is formed. The zygote will develop and thousands of sporozoites are formed. Then these sporozoites migrate into the salivary gland of mosquito. Again the sporozoites, they enter into the salivary gland of mosquito. Then when the mosquito bites another human, sporozoites are injected. Then again that mosquito bites another human, then sporozoites again are injected into the body. Like that the life cycle will continue here in the human also and in the mosquitoes also. From female Anopheles mosquito bites, the sporozoites enters into the body of the human. Then their fertilization takes place. Sporozoites are formed or enter into the human body. Then again that female Anopheles mosquito again bites the healthy person, affected person. At that time what will happen? The sporozoites, as it enters into the body first, there the parasites will develop there and gametes will develop, and then when again female bites the person here, again infected person, again that parasite enters into the body of the mosquito. Again the formation of gametes takes place, fertilization takes place, zygote form, again thousands of sporozoites are formed. Like that the life cycle will continue. Thank you.